Man, they tried to do me like Yay. They cut me off, cut us off. They ain't just cut the stream. They cut the whole power. They tried to cut the power off. The power twinkled in here, man. Threw me off, man. Anyways, this your boy. We're gonna start all over again from the beginning. This is your boy at Big Game James _36. This is Big Games BS. I'm a part of Den Media Group, brought to you by the world's greatest, thehumidor.com. Thehumidor.com is the go-to website for all things tobacco related. Whether it be your cutters, your torches, any of that stuff. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. Everybody likes tobacco. Everybody likes cigars. Doesn't matter what your race, ethnicity, or how powerful you are. Broke or a billionaire. You can like cigars. You can get a discount from thehumidor.com. It's already cheap priced. Go there, type in sports, then at checkout, you get 20% off. You spend over $150, they'll give you free shipping in the continental United States. Inside of the world's greatest cigar lounge. Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. You know us. You know where we at. It's everybody knows your name. It's like Cheers with a mob twist. It's got the best. We're getting there with the cigars, but I can tell you unapologetically, we have the best bourbon, best whiskey selection in the 904 area code. So if you're trying to get after it, you're trying to get some action, you want to hear good live music, you want to hear all of those different things, come check us out. Hold on. Oh yeah, we come check us out, and that's kind of a little lazy. Kind of threw off my mojo. I think I was better in the last show, but y'all know where we at. Y'all go to thehumidor.com, go to Goodfellas, go check all the different places out. This is, I promise, my last time talking about this guy. And the only reason I'm talking about him is because it really is sports related. And there's so much out there, and so many people having these statements, like, it's starting to bother me. It baffles me. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. I'm saying all of this right now, currently wearing a pair of 350s that are probably going to increase in value now. Shout out to Adidas. But Kanye West, I want to put this out there, is not Malcolm X. He is not Martin Luther King. Kanye West is not doing anything for the betterment of anybody except for Kanye West. He's actually made that statement in some of the statements that he's making. He stated that, I want to make sure that my children own the brand and aren't a part of a boardroom, which, if you really understand, they're more Kardashians than they are West. And there probably are going to be, the matriarch's going to control every decision with that. The matriarch, by the way, I don't know if you heard this, Miles, but she turned a man into a woman. Like, what was the Kardashian? What's her name? Anyways, Kim's mom dated the Olympic swimmer that's now Bruce Jenner, and now Bruce Jenner is Molly Jenner or some shit like that. Whatever, like whatever the pronoun identifies as is now woman. But it's alleged that he actually booed her vagina during sex. He said boo. Like, boo. So, I mean, this is like, so I can understand the mental anguish that Kanye has gone through over the years. But I just really think that, let me just get into a lot of this stuff. So, and the reason why I felt the need to discuss this, and Adidas made a statement. Adidas terminates partnership with Ye immediately. Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Ye's recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, dangerous, and they violate the company's values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness. After a thorough review, the company has taken the decision to terminate the partnership with Ye immediately in production of Yeezy branded products and stop all payments to Ye and his companies. Adidas will stop the Adidas Yeezy business with immediate effect. This is expected to have a short-term negative impact of up to $250 million on the company's net income in 2022, given the high seasonality of the fourth quarter. Adidas is the sole owner. I want everybody to hear this. Adidas is the sole owner of all design rights to existing products, as well as previous and new colorways under the partnership. More information will be given as part of the company's upcoming quarter 3 earnings announcement on November 9th, 2022. So basically, Ye tells everybody that don't be a slave, but doesn't own his name, nor his shoe, nor his design. But I don't think, and, there's been a lot of stuff that's come in. One thing people have said, and I want to take this moment to tell you guys that Brett Favre is an awful human being. A lot of people have said, well, who stopped with Brett Favre? And I want people to realize that Kanye is a much more influential person than Brett Favre. I have never done anything saying, damn, I want to do this because Brett Favre did it. Besides maybe play football, but I didn't play quarterback. Fuck Brett Favre. I don't have copper tone. I've never wanted to own copper tone. Brett Favre does not identify and speak for anything that's saucy or swaggy. Now, this does directly affect me because I love 350s. That's one of my favorite shoes. That is one of the Kanye's Yeezy brand. I had the original pair of 380s that first came out. It kind of sucked, but probably the price is going to go up. I am looking to sell them bitches. I just never worn them, not because Kanye. I just haven't worn them, so I want to sell them. I don't like the 500s. I don't like some of the other things. I wanted to get the slides. And yes, Yeezy's been having a back and forth with Adidas for quite some time, but it's not just that. Adidas is also, he's also has a marketing agency. Athlete agency, Donda Sports. They had Jaylen Brown and Aaron Donald, one of the better basketball players, one of the better football players. They're breaking ranks. The person that's actually staying with him is the president of Donda Sports, and that's Antonio Brown. So that lets you know if Antonio Brown is understanding where you're coming from, and other people aren't. Like, that's sometimes in arguments, to know if you're on the right side of history, you got to look at who's agreeing with you. If neo-Nazis and Antonio Brown are like, yeah, Kanye was right, that's kind of it. But I want to tell people this, because a lot of times people make things bigger than what they really are. Here is the real reason why Kanye got lost his deal to Adidas, and it has nothing to do with the anti-Semitic march. Well, I did go back and see the tweet that he put out where he says we're going to go DEFCON 3 on Jews.
Oh, that's what
that was the real thing. Like, he ended up deleting it. And one thing Kanye does is in his music, he tells the truth. Don't ever fix your lips like collagen to say something where you're going to end up apologizing. So if you don't know what DEFCONs are, DEFCON 1 means nuclear war. DEFCON 3 means the military, and it has to be aggressive movements, not waiting to respond. You are the aggressor, and all military actions have to be ready in 15 minutes. So, like, he kind of like pushed the button. But I want to say the real reason before that, and this is enough. So you got the video that Miles? Yeah. Okay, this is kind of funny toward the end, but like, just play it real quick. And this was on Drink Champs. And again, you can't go around testing people.
Adidas is like, I can literally say anti-Semitic and they can't drop it. I can say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Now what?
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
And that's basically what Adidas told him. Adidas basically said straight up, you fucked around and you found out. Now, I am really good friends with most of my partners. At least I think I'm good friends. Actually with Scott here with Goodfellas, and we talk all the time. We hang out. I've gone over his house for the 4th of July. We don't always agree on things. We agree on a lot of stuff, but we don't. But one thing I'll never do is disrespect a business partner. See, you guys are looking at this too deep. And I get it. Y'all guys are really, really looking at this way too deep. Oh, why when he said anti-slavery, slavery is a choice, or when he put the White Lives Matter, they didn't ban him. He didn't say Adidas can't ban me. This motherfucker literally just said I can say whatever I want, and Adidas can't do shit about it. And Adidas, and I've learned this. I learned this when I first moved to Jacksonville. I was a part of a company called Titus. We were in this place called Jacksonville Indoor Sports. The guy who actually, which ironically is a convicted pedophile now, but the guy Pete Jacobs owned it, and his biggest contract was with JVA, Jacksonville Volleyball Association, which was a pretty good volleyball association. They rented all the courts, and literally they were the largest client that they had. It literally paid the bills for most of the year. They were looking to go get another facility, and Pete wanted to partner with it. Pete made this statement to Mary: "You cannot do it. You'll fail if you do it without me." And you know what? You know what happens when you say that to people? They're willing to bet on themselves. Bet. I'm willing to fail without you. Because, and I think a lot of this stuff comes with being hot right now. You're hot right now, but there will be another person that they can fill in that void that will eventually do something. You know somebody who they can right now? This is free game for you, Adidas. You know who literally people can't get enough of this stuff? And he's so good that he can beat charges? Because nobody's talked about this. Everybody talked about the bad stuff that happened, but nobody's talked about ever since then, because he's doing a big time party in Miami for the live. This guy named Travis Scott.
Oh, wow. He was quiet for the right amount of time.
Travis Scott had some controversy. Shut the fuck up and bounce back cleaner than ever. Got new shoes coming out that are going to sell. They're going to make hype beasts. Adidas is probably going to go to him. Kanye. I love Yeezy. Now, the real reason why I make my stance that I have is that I like Kanye, but there is nothing pro-black about Kanye. And I'm going to use this statement that I wanted to take credit for originally, but I'm not about stealing from black women. My friend Nakia made this statement. She did. It's no tweet with it. It's just Kanye is a billionaire that doesn't want to spend his own money to propel his music or his fashion. He wants validation from white men, and then he throws a temper tantrum and disrespects the very people who pay him and provide him his platforms. That's what happened. There's no deeper. Now, if you can go find the one thing that I'm really tired of people talking about, it's it should be that one. I'm so tired of people trying to make things bigger than what they are, and that there's a boogeyman. There are powers to be, but what happens is it's no different than when we were in the streets. It's no different than if you're in the country. It is a gang mentality. It's like people want power, and people will do whatever they can to keep themselves in the positions of power. That's the truth. Look at your job. Your manager wants to stay the manager, so they're going to do everything they can to stay the fucking manager. But you can't go around, you know what? Homework assignment. You, everyday American, go in there and call your boss a bitch and see what's going to happen. Tell your boss that you can't get rid of me. It's not cancel culture. It's you can be replaced. You got to understand this. I am sponsored by alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, and I have made a statement that it is very tough to get rid of me, but I am not finna go piss off my guys on purpose. Those are recession-proof businesses, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go around and say, "Hey, fuck you, fuck." But I mean, again, it's just wild, especially when you have a respect. But I'm tired of the Illuminati, Baba Yaga, the boogeyman, all this other shit, man. Here's the reality. Everybody knows everything about secret societies, but yet the secret societies are still in control. Right. That means you know absolutely nothing. So play this. This is from Guru, who's in the music industry, who talks about all this stuff where people are like, oh, somebody's controlling the narrative, blah, 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 blah.
Fault. It's our fault. Because they work for us. You see what I'm saying? Don't say my record label. It's like when people say Illuminati. Say their names.
Right.
Say the names. It was one time where Esso was on here And he said, yo, it's these many families. I wanted to jump into the screen and be like, no, SO, it's a lot of families. I grew up in Delaware. The DuPonts run Wilmington. That's not DuPont Hospital.
You can push pause on the rest of
We
it.
know
But
the
basically,
name.
the biggest thing that
Say
Guru
the
said,
name. Because what it does, when you
oh, my
say
bad. Come back. Keep playing it. My bad.
these things, it makes a boogeyman for our children.
Right.
They can't fight the Illuminati
or the imaginary days.
No, but you allow them
to have a target.
No.
They mythologize.
You're not saying the name.
They mythologize.
You making a boogeyman.
No, I understand.
They can't fight the boogeyman. But if you say a name, they can fight that family.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. So so my biggest problem with Kanye and a lot of these pseudo fake. This is why I say I hate fake woke people and I hate fake free thinkers. It's a name used on both sides of it because both sides regurgitate talking points of the side in which they like. And you only agree with them because they did. Free thinkers truly can analyze a situation and see where it's at. And this isn't any because I actually have a really good friend, Carson Skinner. But the Skinner name in Jacksonville means something. Yeah. They own this whole fucking city. Now, if we wanted to go back in time, and I'm pretty sure they own people. The ones now don't. But I'm just saying, they were they own a lot of land, a lot of property. They have a lot of power here in Jacksonville. Just saying, it doesn't make them evil. But you know what they want to do? They probably want to keep the power because that's a legacy thing. All people talk about with black people is like creating a legacy. Generational wealth is about power, guys. I don't know what to tell you. It's the truth. I'm trying to create a name in the Coleman that resonates, that speaks before it gets into doors. And we will die behind that name. You know what? That could be considered 30, 40 years from now. Some probably spooky shit for people who don't understand the beginnings of it. Shit, what's the girl? Lorraine Osley, I think that's who my man Corey Simon's running for. Her family started Capital City Bank from slave money. Her dad ran against her dad literally ran against. Well, not ran against. What do you call it? Was opposing counsel to the bus boycotts that Reverend C.K. Steele, who was the starter of the largest black church in Tallahassee. But y'all don't talk about that. Y'all talk about all these things that have zero impact over your everyday life. But the reality is this. He did name one name. He did name Leo Cohen. He did name this. But that's just like when Republicans say George Soros is providing these. I want to know where George, because again, if you know this much, you know how to get to him. I want George Soros to pay me. I need some money. George, if you're listening, or any of my Republican friends, if y'all know, can y'all get him to me so he can write me one of these checks that y'all say he just be writing all the time? The reality is, you know nothing. And it's not just one person, because they have to have a network. And what happens is if you start naming names, who's connected? Who's affiliated? It's not they, them, they. It's not the pronouns, bro. Right. If you got that much information, you know exactly who's doing this. But here's the reality. And this is where I'm going to end all be all on Kanye. And if you got factual proof that Kanye is doing, not that he will or may do this, because he could have been done this and he hasn't. The minute my bank tells me that they're not going to do anything with me is the minute I find another bank. When Vistar started acting up, I found another bank that I like locally. Asked a lot of questions, did my research. Chase took his money, said, you got 90 days to get rid of your money. Did he call Killer Mike and try to partner with Greenwood Bank? Imagine the flex that would have been to go with a black-owned bank. Nah, you didn't use your platform for black. That's called being actively pro-black. No, you did not do that. You talked about using black designers and black shooters. Did you go to Sia Collective to go ahead and show them, hey, man, I want to partner with you to create my new Yeezys? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't go to a black-owned designer. You went to Balenciaga. That's a newer deal. You have your own streaming platform. You know how I know? Because your last album, that's how you streamed it. It was shitty, but you didn't put your own money to invest and make that platform better. Again, black-owned. You didn't go to Fan Base, which is a Black-owned social media platform if anybody is interested in finding something else. You went to Candace Owens' husband to try to buy Parler, which stinks. It is not Black-owned. See, this ain't chess. This ain't checkers. This is common sense. I can't bait. I can literally look at your actions and what you haven't done and say you aren't for the cause. You're for Kanye, and I'm okay with it. And for my Black people, you want to know why Adidas and none of them stopped supporting these guys? Like, didn't drop him when he was saying anti-Black, when he was saying White Lives Matter, he was saying all this other shit? Because we were still supporting him and buying his product because he's good. The 350 is one of the most comfortable shoes I own. The Donda documentary that he released, because this all happened in February. I remember it. I had my uncle, my grandmother's last brother passed, and then a good friend of mine passed right after that. I remember I was in Philly. I was watching the goddamn documentary, and everybody was telling me how good it was. He pulled this act then. Slavery is a choice. All these different things, all these things that, Black people are bounded by this. And then they did a 350 shock drop. They also did a Netflix documentary. It does it not? They were supposed to do a 350. They just did a 350 drop this weekend. They were going to do another couple this in this quarter. And a documentary just got pulled off the show. Does it not? It's not coincidence that it worked last time, so we tried to do it this time. I'm just saying, I'm done talking about that. On to some happier times. I absolutely love, first and foremost, I love old Black women. I love black men too. I can't wait on Friday to go hang out with my elders, because them cats they just talk so much sense, man, and so much game, and it's some elite lies being told too. But I love old Black women, especially the ones where you can see, like, you can see the pride and they used to have it. I remember in 2006, actually, Miles' sister, it was one of the first flexes that I did with her. I got her tickets to the FAMU homecoming concert. She got good tickets. Not just tickets for her and her crew. Shout out to my guy Goo, who I'm doing my Thanksgiving drive with this year. But Goo got me like real good tickets. Like, you went on the floor, but you don't really want to be on the floor unless you high up. You want to be like in the little rows that come up a little bit. And it was but also got a tickets to the step show. And was I working? Anyways, I got a chance to see my godmother stroll. My godmother's a Delta. Mama's an AKA, godmother's Delta. I had never seen Dot Bailey stroll. And boy, when I tell you, it looked like she almost broke her neck when she did that thing that y'all Deltas do with the little whipping of the neck and shit. It was amazing to see, because I saw her as a college student for the first. I saw her young. She wasn't old then too, but because this was damn near 15, 16 years ago. But it was like I saw a different version of her. And like, if you watch this was at Hampton University's homecoming. And I don't know if this was like former women who were like in the dance team or something like that. But these women right here was getting after it. And you could tell they was bad back in the day, especially this one in front. And for those who are listening, it's just some bad bitches walking. They about to drop it right here, though. I know it was some Advil and Big Gay going on that night. You know, I mean, them girls got meg knees. It's just so much attitude. Man. I love it. And the younger old girl trying to get in there. can't do it like them old birds. I know that's gonna suck for the guys who are listening on SoundCloud, but just know, man, they dropping it down, boy. Vintage vagina, man. I tell you what, boy, that stuff is probably just. It's just again, man. I'm telling you, dog. As a man who has experienced old vagina, if you haven't gotten that, man, go get you. So, shout out to Kodak Black with Monica right now. I didn't know Monica was only 42. I didn't realize we was that close in age, but Kodak Black living his best life right now. So, but homecomings are just a great time. Again, check out A Night Under the Stars. It's all over my social media. Please come hang out with me right now. First, if you get in before 10 o'clock, you say Big Game sent you. You getting a glass of champagne with just a general admission ticket. I think the ticket's $50, but it's gonna be grown and sexy. It's gonna be live bands, all that kind of good shit, good food, blah blah blah. Come out, hang out with us. But here's what I don't like about homecoming, and here's where I'm going to show you my pro-blackness. I hate when people come for my the university that I came up with. So I like Glorilla. I don't necessarily like Lotto. I think Lotto is okay, but she got that song BDE, and she was beefing with Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj just hates all new girls who don't come in and kiss the ring or whatever. But Lotto came out and basically she was pegged to be one of the headliners, and yeah, you ain't gonna be able to show that. It's just I was just showing that to remember that because that's what we're going at. Lotto was, but you gotta go look at some of those pictures though, Miles. It's wild. Lotto was supposed to be performing live as one of the homecoming acts. She said she wasn't. The group that FAMU, SBA, basically the students are the ones who put this on. They were able to find a partner with the organization that was able to bring her on. Lotto says that this didn't happen. She never got a contract. She never did this. But FAMU put up their facts. Lotto put up her facts. And what happens is, and this has got it's Parody Rattler at FAMU Videos. I think it's really one of the best people when it comes to all of this. Ask yourself a question. The City Girls and basically every other act that's coming to Tallahassee that weekend was booked through the same promoter. They're performing. They're ready to come to Tallahassee, but you're not. Now, what does the City Girls have to do? The City Girls are Team Nikki right now. JT has came out and done all subliminal messages against Lotto. What you're doing is showing some cattiness right now, Lotto. I'm not going to your concert, so I don't really give a fuck. But I do know this. Songs like BDE don't get that in artists, and you'll probably eat off of that for the rest of your life. But those type of artists typically don't last very long. You're going to want to come back. You're going to want to do the Chitlin circuit. That's what they used to call it. The Chitlin circuit is going to make you pay, give you the bread, right? You don't go against one of the biggest, most prestigious, most illustrious HBCUs. What your ass is about to do is not get invited back to fucking Tallahassee. You could have just said it's a misunderstanding. We'll work out. We'll do this. It didn't, because this is where she doubled down on. She said, I was going to try to figure it out and come off of my tour. But since y'all bash my name, I'm not going to do it. Bitch, fuck you. It's just wild, man. Just some of the shit. It's just, I don't get it, man.
I didn't realize how big FAMU is for hip hop and bringing artists' name up, but it really is.
FAMU is big. And this is why I was talking about, like, when they talk about Jackson State homecoming, all the stars and celebrities are here. Man, let me tell y'all about growing up in Tallahassee in the 90s, right? Everybody came through FAMU's homecoming. I met Joe Claire, Big Liz, so Rap City, all the biggest art. The only bigger HBCU, I would argue, is Howard, because Howard's homecoming literally puts artists on. Biggie got put on at Howard's homecoming. T-Pain actually got put on, because I remember running through the elevator. I remember us getting to the airport, right? It was the wildest thing in the morning, because it's wild because you can't no longer do this. But we went through the airport, Tallahassee Airport, on our way to fly to a game. I saw my boy Jay Lyric, James Cohen. Matter of fact, we used to have this almost exact same name. Went to Fairview, all kinds of wild stuff. One of my good friends. You seen him at the tailgate. He was running through, said, "Hey man, we got to go perform this song at Howard Homecoming with T-Pain." And I'm like, "Where?" Because he had just been part of the construction crew for the baseball field. And in a year, he's going to Howard Homecoming. Next thing you know, I'm sprung. It's like going national. We had heard it in Tallahassee for a while. I'm sprung. I'm in love with a stripper. Actually, I'm in love with a stripper thing made a lot of us locals kind of mad because it made it seem like we was suckers. But there ain't no strip clubs in Tallahassee. When you first get a stripper that does her job very, very well, makes you feel like there's some love there. But yeah, like Tallahassee or HBCU can put you on because you got to think of the demographic. That's that. But there's so much stuff going on for homecoming, a sneaker convention, all kinds of other jazz and shit, man. Make sure y'all do all this stuff, man. But I want to say this, and Miles, you don't have to post the video, the pictures on it. I'm going to do it from my phone, but ladies, I've got questions, and I need answers because it's the problem is the other stuff. Like the stuff to the right isn't like, and that right there, that wasn't like the way they're doing that. At least I don't think that's a part of it. But Wisconsin volleyball is now, but you can't show the YouTube. Actually, show the Twitter, my Twitter thing first. And I'm gonna preface this: Wisconsin volleyball is now the most popular sport on Wisconsin's campus. And sometimes, showing a little thigh, a little hip is the best thing that you could do. And my question is for women: when y'all win, or when y'all chat, and when y'all are really on these women talk about men going on girls trips, right? I mean, men going on guys trips. Oh, that's gay. Do you call it gay? If you're actually sent you the link. If y'all are y'all calling men who go on guy trip, bro trips gay because of what y'all do? Because of how y'all know y'all get down? Because that's not it. It's under the ladies. I got questions. And I've accidentally seen that go down under that part right there. I've accidentally seen women group chats, and it's worse than anything that men can post. Women are vile creatures. Y'all say some of the most hurtful shit to each other, but y'all do some. But this right here is a crazy celebration if you think about it. But I want to show this first though, and let everybody see why. Like, this is a hell of a crowd right here though. If I could have this at a football game, basketball game, let alone a volleyball game, it's crunk. But this is Wisconsin volleyball winning the game and getting after it. A lot of fan enthusiasm. And we'll talk about why everybody's excited to see the women's volleyball team at Wisconsin after I show you how crunk the game is. 16. There's more people at a Wisconsin volleyball game than a Miami Hurricanes football game. Now, maybe you're saying Big Ten is just more Title IX appropriate. They just really like their women's sports. This is how all men should support women athletics. Let me tell you why. These women are the current the reigning Big Ten champs, and how they decided to celebrate it is by showing their titties. There are videos, there's pictures that have leaked where they got together and did a team photo and just had their titties showing. Matter of fact, one's come from, actually, these are nice areolas. And just the only one, like the one black girl that looks kind of awkward, like, because like, she don't want to show all of it, just show a little bit, like she got half of a boob covered. Like, you might as well go and show the whole thing, baby. But everybody, I mean, they are butt naked in here showing the titties, hands on the hips, thrusting them out. And I don't know why Like, I don't understand. Like, you know, is that like how y'all celebrate? Is that what? Is this what happens?
First of all, who looks at volleyball players for titties?
It's more than thighs and ass. But I'm just. But the craziest, which is wow. Actually, now that I think about it, the one with the really good ones. If she jumps, how does that not? I'm just saying, like when she like, that's. I mean, she got to strap them things down, man. I'm not saying she can't play volleyball, but I'm looking that thing would literally bust a lip. But you won a game, right? And your first thought is to like show, like, I don't know, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a team group photo, titties. It's just because I've never, and I had somebody asked me, James, y'all never did wild shit. I have. He said, y'all never party hard and did wild stuff when you were at Florida State. No, I have never in my life partied butt ass naked, whipping out my dick with my teammates. But it will make me, if I did, you know, see more FSU volleyball, because we had some fine ass volleyball players. I probably would have went to a couple more games. Just like our softball team was really, really fun. Would have went to a couple more softball games. But I want you to, the first thing I thought about when I saw that was a classic Nike commercial, which now is kind of cringy. But this was after, but if it reminded me of a celebration of the women's soccer team. When they won, when she made the goal or thing, and then she slid and she took off her jersey and she just had her sports bra on. It was the same video, but it's the one with Kevin Garnett. If you just excited that. But like, if you really look at KG in this video and his response, I don't think they can make this same video can't be made in today's society. But this is what everybody's thinking after they won. I mean, everybody's seen them now. Might as well just show them. But go ahead.
Oh my gosh, this can't be real.
So with the shirt.
Whoa.
Like, they were mad disappointed that she did.
Oh my gosh, we were so edgy in the 90s.
That's why I say when comedians say we're soft now, I admit it, dog. We are really, really soft. Like this commercial in today's, this is definitely gonna get a letter. This is gonna be like, how could you? But like, what's up? But like, man, I would be like, anytime we get an A in a group project, and I'm with a Wisconsin volleyball player. Hey, man, what's up with the shirt? We celebrating, ain't we? But that commercial was mad wild though. The more I think about it, but I just got questions, ladies. But going to the next thing, genius level marketing. One of the things, if you fly, and I'm about to have to, January, February, March is when I'm probably going to be doing a lot of travel, NFL Combine, Senior Bowls, Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, a bunch of different things I get a chance to cover. I'm going to fly a lot. I like flying first class because of my hookup. Shout out to American Airlines. Hopefully you won't cancel any more flights on me. But nobody likes the middle seat. Richard Branson, a billionaire an eccentric billionaire that doesn't do crazy shit, unlike Kanye, has come up with a brilliant marketing strategy. Virgin Airlines in Australia is bringing up a campaign. It's called the Middle Seat Lottery. Basically, if you choose to sit in the middle seat, you get an opportunity to win all kinds of cool ass prizes because nobody wants to sit in the middle seat. Let's just be honest. But you can play the video. They got a little video for it, and this is she's black women in Australia look like that. Yes, yeah, it should be on. Oh, you got to click the other one. My bad. Yeah, it's not that one. Click the other link. That's the one I'm looking at. And maybe while you're doing that, I can read the Axios article. But like, yeah, the video just talks about, and again, launching big prizes for sitting in the middle seat. That video right there. So 230,000 worth of prizes will be given away through April 23rd to travelers who either select or are assigned middle seat on Virgin Airlines. 1% of travelers choose the middle seat intentionally as their first preference. This is trying to get them.
Nice, it's just.
But the aisle seat was preferred 67%. of the time. Most people, only 34% want the window. The heir filed. They doing this to try to make sure to get more money because they have filed for bankruptcy, but now they got out of it in 2020. They made their money back. They need basically they just need this. But go ahead, let's see how they're marketing this.
Thank you for choosing us and have a nice flight. Have a nice flight. Have a nice flight.
Nice. Is that the best we can hope for?
Nice is just coasting along.
Nice is a souvenir t-shirt.
Nice is a guy whose name escapes.
Like nice guy.
Scary place.
At least let's have a good flight.
Good riddance, nice. And g'day, good vibes.
Ugh, good one.
Only as good is. It's not great.
But he's great as it gets.
That's been grating on me too.
Instead, let's make it wonderful.
And we've already begun.
By letting you pull your family's points.
Wonderful. Look at all those velocity points.
And turning our middle seats into wonderful lottery tickets.
So everyone, kiss nice, goodbye, and have a wonderful flight.
Nice.
You know what this would be dope for? If you that's a good commercial. If you travel as a family, just put the little kid in the middle seat. Now you all getting to participate in it. Like the middle seat is really not that bad unless you're like me. Like, but for like it, just buy. If you're gonna buy an individual seat, pay the price to go up. If not, just travel with people you like and just go from there. But going from genius level marketing to this, and this guy has been genius levelly marketed, and that's Josh Pate. Josh Pate is like the other is another talking bag that has been thrust down our throats through genius marketing. And I actually think Josh is actually pretty decent at his job, unlike the other person. But Josh has some crazy takes that he's been saying since the beginning. He said Miami was going to be the best team. He said all these different things. He's a 247 talking head. Not 24/7 talking head, 247 sports talking head. He was all over Texas A&M, but I think what's happening is slow news day. Everybody says, you know what? Let's blame the devil, the NIL. Blame the kids. It's always the kids' fault that America's going down. It's not the past generations who fucked it up. It's always the current generation that's barely been here is the reason why they're greedy, not the people who made them greedy. But if you play, Josh Pate put Texas A&M's problems today, maybe your problems tomorrow. The NIL and portal have opened a whole new window, a whole new world. So he accused me of not listening to what he said, and I did. But I want to play this so you guys can hear what he said as I deconstructed.
Great catch-22 in the NIL and transfer portal era when it comes to recruiting at the level A&M just recruited at and the way they do recruit now. And that is, for better or for worse, you've got a chunk of kids in any given class who are not coming to your campus for the same reasons that kids did a generation ago. I am not foolish enough to tell you that transactions financially were never a part of this game until recently. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is if you were to take the Texas A&M roster of 1989, just pull a year out of thin air.
I love how he tries to do this.
There were a lot of East Texas kids on that roster who grew up knowing that granddad and dad and my brothers and my cousins, they all bleed maroon. And I'm going there and I would crawl over broken glass for that program.
Oh, yeah.
Point blank, that is not the motivation for a lot of these kids coming to your campus anymore. That doesn't mean you can't win with them. It just means that when you open them up and you see how they're wired, it's different. And as long as you're cool with that, go for it. But don't be surprised if you get some of those kids on campus and they don't
you can push pause on
get
that.
what they wanted out of
it. It's so much stuff in this. And he does admit that I won't pretend like there wasn't money involved before, but let's just take 1989 Texas A&M. Sorry ass roster, by the way. And just, those kids aren't full of those East Texas guys that whose granddad played and their mama played and their big daddy played and they'll crawl over glass and broken rocks to come. Bitch, that has not been in football since the 60s, since before black people entered, dog. Y'all stop with this rose-colored glass shit. Do you know what was happening during that time? Pony Express and shit was happening not too many years before that. Miami was down there showing stuff. The reason why, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why you don't see East Texas players playing for them, and it had nothing to do with the NIL, and it really has nothing to do with the bag. It has everything to do with TV. Now your grandmama can see you play fucking football in Florida. The only way she could see you then was on by then, because people didn't even have TVs back then. People had them, but not everybody had them. And now everybody had cable. Like, I countered him with this. Why don't you look at Boise State? Look at Boise State roster from 1989. You know what? It was probably full with a bunch of bitches from fucking Idaho. But then Boise State started playing every game on Thursday night, and you can see Boise State playing Thursdays nationally. A plane ticket don't cost $2,000 to get to Boise, Idaho anymore. You could go there and your family can see you. That matter of fact, in the fucking video game, that used to be a recruiting pitch. We will play games in Florida. You can see us on TV. It's been one of the big dog recruiting pitches. I'm tired of you talking heads trying to make this into something that's not. It's the evils of money that has corrupted our young people. Stupid son of a bitch. That's not what corrupt. If that's the case, no, you know what? You know what's pissing these guys off? I'll tell you what's pissing these guys off. It has nothing to do with the money. The money's a part of it. Matter of fact, I'll tell you how I know it's not a part of the money, because there are schools there are kids that are choosing Florida State for smaller NIL deals. Money is a motivator, but it's not the only motivator. They went to Texas A&M because they felt like they can get developed and go to the NFL. The NFL check is still bigger. Trust and believe that. Here's the reason why kids are unmotivated. And here's the reason why we got to stop talking about 5- and 6-figure deals a year. Dan Lanning, $447,000. Make sure I said that. $447,000. Yep. Steve Sarkisian, $880,000. Britt Venables, $933,000. Jimbo Fisher, $952,000. Lincoln Riley, $972,000. Brian Kelly, $1 million. Mario Cristobal, $1.5 million. You know what that comes out to? And that's just a few guys. That is exactly how much each fucking win, how much those guys get paid per win based upon what their yearly salary is. When Bobby Bowden made $2.5 million a year when I was playing, that is when I said that amateurism in sports is a ruse. Stop talking about it. You don't give a fuck about the players, and that's the truth. And it's okay to say that because we're being entertained. It is entertainment that we care about, period. Jimbo Fisher's guaranteed $95 million over the next 10 years. Mel Tucker's guaranteed $95 million over the next 10 years. Mario Cristobal's guaranteed $80 million over the next 10 years. And there are numerous other ones. Those guys have a combined 9 wins. They are getting paid for mediocrity through the blood, sweat, and tears of young men who are getting paid. And those young men are seeing they're getting yelled at, fussed at when they know that they're the reason that these guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, creating generational wealth off of the backs of them. And they're not getting paid a fucking dime outside of the opportunity to use their name, image, and likeness. And people like Josh Pate and all you other fucking curmudgeons are going under the guise that this is wrong, that this is what's ruining college football. It's the people who talk about, it's the politicians who say politicians are bought and paid for. We need to get money out of politics, but won't vote to take money out of politics. And the problem is there are a bunch of pilgrims just like you who are going there visualizing this, and it's anti-capitalist. You, me, everybody else gets paid. You get paid a lot more than me right now. Hopefully this changes soon, but get paid very well to have an opinion. And the only people who don't consistently get paid are the athletes. And that's just starting to change. Inclusion looks like reverse oppression when it takes away from you. It's not. It's just inclusion. It's a slice of the pie. You know how you want to erase the NIL? I've said this. Do the right thing. Pay everybody. Most of these athletes don't even want to be bothered with this shit. $65,000 a year, max. Pay every Power 5 kid $65,000 a year with the opportunity to have their name, image, and likeness. And I guarantee you'll see a lot less kids go for NIL deals, which is already very few. And how do I know? It's because I deal with them. Motherfuckers don't want to do it. They want to just play ball. That's why they came there. Because you can lose. The goal is to go to the NFL. You'll always get NILs if you're chasing the NFL, but if you're chasing NILs, you reduce your chance of going to the NFL because you're focused on the wrong thing.
The only way it can mess up the NFL is in 10 years where kids get to be like your kids and not have to go play.
But, it's always going to be bigger money.
Yeah, there'll always be.
So it's like the money is never going to, like, when there's $100 million kid in college, then I'll be a little bit more. But that's not going to happen because if that kid can make $100 million in college, that kid knows he can make $500 million in the NFL.
Right.
If he does everything and plays his cards right. Right now, the way the CBA is going to be structured in the NFL is the rookie minimum will be $1 million in, I believe, 6 to 7 years. It's already basically that. But your guarantee would be $1 million. Contracts by then will probably be guaranteed because what a lot of people don't realize is there is no such thing as guaranteed contracts in any sport. Right. The NBA players just won't sign it, and the baseball players just won't sign it. And the owners have come, and the GMs have come to the conclusion, okay, well, we better do this. And the NFL contracts are guaranteed. It's called your guaranteed money. If they say he signed a 10-year, $100 million contract, $65 million guaranteed to sign it, that is a 10-year, $65 million contract with escalators. Period. You're the only idiots who didn't see that. But it's like this, man. Oh, man. And his cronies have come in and it commented on it and did all these different things, but
they're just losing power.
It's just the wildest thing in the world, man. And again, to quote my friend Nikki on all of this, it's not chess, it's not checkers, it's just common sense. And common sense ain't all that common. And it's just, I'm bored. I don't have anything else to talk about. Everybody that I said was any good stinks. I'm losing credibility by the day. What can I possibly do? I could go and talk about the kids ruining college football. Now, it is hard times, and I want to go into what Jimbo Fisher's got, but I have to go into my MFTK, which is my Hater Clock, brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Green Acre Sporting Goods is the go-to outdoor shop. Get all your gun needs. Go in there, mention Big Game James, and they're going to give you $100 off select guns, and they'll give you some ammunition if you buy the proper gun. Now, you could also go in there and get your bows and arrows. You can go get your fishing equipment. You get a lot of stuff. Black Friday's coming. Go get a gift certificate. Tell them Big Game James told you to go get a gift certificate. You actually I want you to click on both of those. The first one I'll read it. You can just keep that up there. But MFTK, part of the reason why I believe our society is the way it is, again, I don't blame the kids. I blame those who are raising the kids, is that people are treating kids as adults and not preparing kids for the consequences that come with adulthood. I think I say marriage is a bad contract. I think growing up is a bad contract. I won the race against millions of sperm to come to be able to live, to live a life of paying bills. It is not cool. Like, I wish I could go. Some days you're out here and you're like, damn, I would have been better off in the sack or on some napkins. But here we are. And I'm grateful to have a mother who actually taught me that the world does not revolve around me. And some of you guys are raising kids who believe the world's revolved around you. Now, I will say this. You do have an obligation. Denzel Washington and Fences said it best. I don't do nothing because I like you. My job is to do right by you. But you have to, if you don't train the kid by the time that they're 17, 18, or whatever they leave your house, to be a functional adult in society, all you're doing is placing a burden on society. My job isn't to, my kids didn't ask to be here, but the world didn't ask my kids to be here either. Didn't ask for my kid to be here. So I have to train them to be productive members. So this person, Leah McDermott, a master's in education, is you smart ass motherfuckers. That's the problem. Your child doesn't owe you anything. Not good grades, not good moods, not nights without waking up, not eating every bite, not loving every activity, not a yes. Your child doesn't owe you anything just because you're an adult. Sit with this for as long as you need it. I'm going to go into my comments on this, but I want that person to know, and anybody who agrees with this wholeheartedly, to know what I feel like, what I want them to feel from my persona. If you could just play, Kevin Gates is basically, well, I don't agree with on a lot of stuff, but Kevin Gates was right on this one right here, boy. This is what I feel from the bottom of my heart for y'all who agree with this.
Boy, fuck you. Dad today.
Shit, let that run back one more time.
Boy, fuck you. Dad today.
And the reason why, let's just go through this. Not good grades. Good grades is just basically indicative that you can actually perform a task and be functional. My kid has to be able to work once he gets out of my home. He has to be, they will become fathers. They will become somebody's husband or somebody's boyfriend. And nobody wants to develop a loser. You have to be able to do some things. Good grades is your job. Literally. I have to bring you to school or I go to jail. So if I have to do that, your only obligation to me is to do your best. That is your best, is your grades. That's it, period. You don't like it? Call Child Protective Services and go get put in a fucking home. And guess what they're going to make you do? Make fucking good grades. Not good moods. Mother, let me tell you how fucking angry I was last night. Everybody got to eat their McDonald's but daddy. You know why? Because my son decided to bring the McDonald's bag, his fucking helmet and shoulder pads, and a large Coke. Do you know what happened when a 9-year-old has to try to carry all of that? He drops it. And you know whose food got, only person whose food got wasted? Dad's. I was not in a good mood. But you know what? That happens. But you still have to do your job. I'm not always happy. I didn't want to come in here today. My morning started off sucky. Got better, but it started off sucky. But you got to suck it up and go and do your job. That's it's not about today. It's about training them for life so that they can be something and not some fucking loser that has to tweet about how everything is good for your kids. Not nights without waking up. I don't know what that means, but I do know this. You go to fucking bed when I tell you to go to bed, and you wake up when I fucking tell you to wake up. And when you do have good grades and you learn how to work without work when you're in a bad mood and you're making money on your own, you're gonna do whatever the fuck you want to do. But the reality is, I don't get to go to bed when I want to, and I don't get to wake up when I want to, because that's not the way the world is designed, because I have obligations. And the older you get, it's about accountability to your obligations. You get more and more as you grow up and as you want to exceed and excel in life. Even if you're a billionaire, there is no time. Actually, I saw a great IG thing. If you want to learn how to if you want to learn how to buy things without looking at the price tags, you got to work without looking at the clock. Period. That's how it works. Not eating every bite. That's showing appreciation. You don't have to eat every bite. I don't have to buy you anything but the bare minimums. If I buy you something really, really nice, you show me appreciation by eating it. Now, if you don't like it, you communicate that to me. We won't buy that again. But if I bought you what you wanted, you better eat it, because there are people who want that. Period. I bet if I got you fucking cookies, you eat every fucking bite. But that's not how the world works, because you know what? If I gave you nothing but cookies and pizza, you know where dad's going to go? The fucking jail, because he has a malnourished child. Not loving every activity. I don't love wiping your ass, but I do it. And I do it because at some point, you're going to probably have to do that for me when I get older. Trust me, it's really eye-opening when you got to wipe your grandmother's ass. It's also, you're going to have a child. You got to learn. I'm teaching you how it feels, and you love that, so that when you have another person, you bring them in and give them the exact same thing. And not a yes. You have the right to say no. But I also have the right to say no. You say yes when it's not. The one thing I hate about people, and my right, my choice, and all these different things, and like even with the stuff when it comes to men and women and all these different things, is your opinions on my body, my choice, or I can't do this, or I shouldn't have. If it does not fuck up your fundamental core beliefs or harm you in any way, what is the harm in saying yes to some things? Now, if it's against your morals, I get it. But if it's no, because I asked you to take out the fucking trash, I'm going to throw a bottle at you. Because again, it's showing appreciation in that you can get you are doing this in return for things that you are getting. The only thing you are required to do is to feed a kid and give them a roof and shelter. They do that in the animal kingdom. But the reality of the situation is a lot of you are making this shit more, and you're creating the very humans that guys like me have to support, or that guys like me have to raise kids to fuck up, because that's an entitled brat that you're going to raise with that. And that's a lifelong obligation. You did not sign up for that. Every animal in the animal kingdom eventually has a thing grow up and leave. It is their job to teach them what they need to do to be able to survive in the wild. Those things that person said that you shouldn't have to are the things that are necessary for a human to be able to survive in the animal kingdom, in the wild. You're going to get your kid killed or on Section 8 or fucked up. And when that kid realizes that the world owes them absolutely nothing, that kid is going to go back and they're going to look back at mommy and say, Mommy, why didn't you teach me better? And mommy's going to say, because I had some woke philosophies and some shit that blah, 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 blah. The world owes you not a goddamn thing. I say it every day. I say it to myself every day in the mirror. Nobody cares. Everybody got their own problems. But the reality is you can make it worse by thinking that you're special. And that's all this is really just thinking that you're more special than you're not. And lastly, Alpha Male Clinic. Alpha Male Clinic. We got bourbons and Botox coming November 10th. Come check us out here at the event. We're gonna promote it. We're gonna push it out. Man, you gotta give yourself the gift of you. We all want to be. You know what? Kodak Black, Monica, the Monicas of the world are going younger. Man, fuck them bitches, man. Get yourself right and become that 25-year-old you with the brain. It's one of the cool things I always hear old people say. Man, if I knew what I knew back then with the body I had, like if I knew what I knew now back then, I'd be killing it. Well, let's get your body looking like it was back then with your mind. TRT, different replacement therapies and stuff like you'll see me post on IG, Joe Rogan. A lot of men are doing this. There's nothing wrong with it. It's about relegating and becoming the best you. It's performance enhancement. We see it in sports all the time. Let's live it in our everyday life. Become the alpha male. Because if you got to tell people that you're alpha male, you're not. Let's just show them. Enter 2023 being the best badass version of yourself that you could be. Let's close 22 out the right way. And my alpha male of the day, probably the week, would be my guy Yo Gotti, Memphis rapper who's actually technically semi-retired, made his money. Now he's just managing artists. And this man had a great song when Instagram really first blew up. It was called It Goes Down in the DMs. And if you remember, Instagram was one of the first ones that you could kind of go in and just boom, 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 talk, Snapchat, all that other stuff as well. But he had this bar. I got a crush on Angela. He's like, wait a minute. He's like, I got a crush on Angela Simmons. And basically, since then, he'd been shooting his shot. And that man spoke this into existence. And he's just been on a whirlwind tour with Angela Simmons. Like they've gone to Paris, they've gone to Dubai, they've gone to all these different things. And this alpha male is splurging on the prize that he got. Now, this probably will end in a couple weeks when when he realizes that she's a little bit older and that he can go invest this kind of money somewhere else. But Angela Simmons is gorgeous. And shout out to him and her for being happy. And I am glad that this alpha male is doing what he needs to do. But check out Alpha Male Jacks. Come check us out again. Bourbons and Botox. So it's a men and a woman event. We have executive health and wellness that will be partnered with this. So you guys, we're going to come in. We're all trying to live our best lives moving forward. I don't care what you think. I want you to take away from this. I don't care what you think. I just care that you think. And I think a lot of you aren't using the brain, your brain. And that's all I really got to say about all of that, man. But I appreciate you guys chopping it up with me, man. We'll have a last show on Friday, getting prepared for homecoming. Check out A Night with the Stars with me in Tallahassee. Come kick it with me. Come vibe with me. We're going to hang out. We're going to have a good time. We're going to eat, drink, be merry, because that's what it is. Support the sponsors. And just know this. If James ever starts dissing his sponsors, get me mental health training. All right, man. Appreciate y'all chopping up with me. See y'all later. That's funny.
This victim pretending to be the victim to get what you want, I think is a new devious form of manipulation.
This is a extreme form of manipulation.
Like, this shit is crazy how often this my body, my choice. People are using hot words in places where they don't